Florida tight end Kyle Pitts has declared for the 2021 NFL Draft after a dominant junior season that saw him produce 770 receiving yards and 12 touchdowns in just 8 games. The highly regarded prospect will be just 20 years old upon entering the NFL and projects as a first round and potentially top 10 overall pick in April's draft. Pitts has a modern skill set for a tight end, meaning that his biggest contributions to an offense come as a receiver. The first strength that sticks out in his game tape is his ability to catch the ball despite being contested by defensive backs. Quarterback Kyle Trask was not afraid to trust Pitts on jump balls, providing him with plenty of opportunities to make plays above the rim and down the field. Even against some of the nation's top cornerbacks, such as South Carolina's J.C. Horn, Pitts will adjust the ball and come down with it along the boundary. He finds success in contested situations because of his ability to track the trajectory of the football, being able to see it drop in or over his shoulder, or willing to work through to the ball through the defensive back like he did here against Georgia's Tyreek Stevenson. Even more impressive for Pitts is a later rep that saw him get squeezed towards the sideline by the corner, fighting through the contact with one hand while concentrating and seeing the ball into his other hand with proper eye discipline. Pitts' potential as a route runner in the NFL is sky high as he understands ways how to attack defensive backs that are in solo coverage. Against Kentucky, you'll see that the angle of Pitts' first break is to a point where the safety has to open up his hips towards the sideline. When Pitts redirects, he closes the cushion on the safety, but then chops down on his elbow in order to beat the jam and accelerate towards the post. Not only does Pitts have the athletic gifts, but he's a technically polished route runner for such a young player. Pitts is a high upside prospect because his ability as a receiver enters an elite tier, including on the outside of the formation. Pitts is a diverse release package to beat press coverage, mixing his tempo in order to keep defensive backs back on their heels. His slant route is reminiscent of former Cowboys wide receiver Dez Bryant, as he's able to cross the face of cornerbacks with physicality and hand fighting, winning the body positioning battle. He's able to instill fear of a fade route into cornerbacks, watching them open the gate too early and allowing for easy wins inside in the red zone. Pitts can even play in the slot and run routes that you'll commonly see much smaller players such as Julian Edelman or Cole Beasley run. On this whip route, notice how quickly he's able to break down in just 2 steps, changing direction back outside and creating separation away from the defensive back for the touchdown. Even more impressive is Pitts' route pacing, as he'll set up the DBs with subtle moves during his stem. Pitts remains a step ahead of the defensive back on this rep, changing the angle of his release, using a skip step at the top of the route, and then an arm over move to avoid getting jammed out of his break. Then he shows off his ball skills by high pointing the pass and surviving a hit from either side of him. While Pitts' biggest contributions come in the passing game and he's not a dominant inline blocker, he does project well into an H-back type role. His effort as a blocker is admirable and won't hinder a rushing attack. He's had positive reps on zone schemes, especially on combination blocks where he can use his athleticism to climb to the second level. He'll get physical with defensive ends on down or kickout blocks, showing off a motor that's consistently running hot and holding his ground in order to create a running lane. He's even had positive reps in pass protection, though it does seem wasteful not to use him as a wide receiver. Overall, he's a high caliber prospect and athlete who's going to immediately upgrade a passing attack while doing enough to help a running game in the NFL.